All right, let's be real for a second. Have you ever been stuck on a project that just felt like total chaos? You know, where amazing ideas just get swallowed up in this storm of confusion and conflict? Well, we're about to unpack a roadmap that shows how one group navigated that exact storm and turned absolute chaos into world-changing creation.
So, this is the journey we're talking about. On one side, you've got a place we all know way too well, right? Confusion, conflict, that feeling of just spinning your wheels and getting nowhere. But on the other side, that's where the magic happens. Real innovation, startups that make a difference and a lasting impact. The big question, though, is how in the world do you bridge that gap?
So how do you actually build that bridge from all that chaos to genuine creation? I mean, that's the fundamental challenge for anyone trying to build something new, right? But here's the good news. It's not some kind of magic. It's a method, a repeatable process, and we're about to break it all down. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory from a textbook. Our story kicks off with a real group of brilliant, super passionate people who were staring this exact challenge right in the face. And they just knew there had to be a better way forward.
So their first big aha moment, it was realizing that the old ways, they just weren't cutting it anymore. You know, following the same old safe business playbook, that was a one-way ticket to mediocrity. They needed a completely new way of seeing the world. And this was their turning point, discovering design thinking. It's this human-centered approach that totally reframes how you look at things. You literally stop seeing problems as these giant roadblocks, and you start seeing them as what they really are, hidden opportunities just waiting for you to innovate. And this is the process they embraced. Instead of jumping straight to solutions, they started with people, really empathizing with what they needed. From there, they could define the actual problem, not just the symptoms. Then comes the fun part. Ideating without any limits, building quick and dirty prototypes, and testing them with real users. This whole cycle just completely replaced that old frustration with a laser-like focus.
Okay, so with that new mindset locked in, the next stage was all about building a solid foundation. Because let's face it, you can't sustain innovation on good ideas alone. You need a powerful engine to keep it running day in and day out.
And the very first brick in that foundation was culture. They knew, without a doubt, that if they didn't have a shared understanding of their mission, everything else would just fall apart. They called it the 3P culture. This little framework creates such crystal clear alignment. Purpose gives everyone that shared why. Process defines a consistent how for everyone. And people clarifies exactly who they are all working to serve. I mean, when an entire organization shares that kind of clarity, all that internal friction that usually kills great ideas, it just melts away. But a strong culture, it needs to be backed up by the right individual mindset, right? So on top of that 3P foundation, they layered on the 3C framework. This was to make sure everyone was approaching their work with the same ethical and intellectual rigor. And this framework is all about balance. Technique is about having the skills, sure, but that's pretty useless without the right attitude, that mindset of curiosity and growth. And both of those have to be guided by solid logic and ethics to make sure the decisions are not just smart, but also responsible. You absolutely need all three to win.
Okay, so you've got the culture and you've got the mindset. But how do you make it last? I mean, how do you make sure this engine doesn't just run for a year, but for decades to come? Well, you build it on some seriously strong pillars.
These 5 pillars were basically the non-negotiables holding the whole thing up. It meant committing to continuous learning so they'd never get complacent, and intentionally developing leadership at every single level, not just at the very top. It's a commitment to a system that actually gets stronger over time. And the thing connecting all of this together, they called it spine. The best way to think of it is like the central nervous system for the whole operation. It's the digital backbone, the infrastructure that lets ideas, info, and collaboration flow without any blockages at all. So, the engine is built, it's powerful, it's aligned, it's all connected. Now, it was time to fuel it up and see what this thing could really do, to turn all that potential into actual real-world impact.
And they fueled this engine in 3 really key ways. First, they built an innovation ecosystem to systematically test and scale up new ideas. Then, they went all in on generative AI, not just as a cool tool, but as a catalyst to accelerate new solutions. And maybe most importantly, they invested in their people, certifying them as change makers who are empowered to lead innovation from literally anywhere in the organization.
All right, this is where the journey really hits its peak. With this engine roaring, fueled by incredible talent and technology, They set their sights on a goal that was, well, almost unbelievably ambitious.
To get there, they needed absolute, relentless focus. They used the OKR framework, objectives and key results, to set super clear, measurable goals for everyone. And this wasn't about micromanagement, not at all. It was about getting everyone pulling in the same direction. With this system, excellence wasn't some happy accident. It became a daily habit.
So just picture this incredible system. You've got a human-centered mindset, a purpose-driven culture, a rock-solid framework, and a relentless focus on excellence. All of that energy, all of that structure, it was all building towards one massive, massive outcome.
1,000. Not 1,000 ideas, not 1,000 projects. 1,000 AI startups, all born from this very system. The sheer scale of that is just staggering. It's the ultimate proof that this roadmap really, truly works.
And this quote just says it all. What started out as this wild, almost impossible dream, something born out of pure chaos and frustration, it became a tangible, scalable reality. It's the ultimate proof that with the right roadmap, even the biggest ambitions are genuinely achievable. So, to wrap it all up, the entire journey boils down to this one simple, powerful transformation. They took the messy, frustrating energy of chaos and they channeled it through a structured, purposeful system to produce pure creation. And that leaves us with one final thought to take away. I mean, looking at this incredible journey, it really makes you wonder what chaos in your own world, in your work, your team, or even your life is just sitting there waiting for the right roadmap to be transformed into something amazing.